Welcome to What's New in Autodesk Revit 2014. My name is Armando Darling and I'm the Senior Technical Marketing Manager for AEC. And I'm joined today by Tomasz Fudala, the Technical Marketing Manager for AEC. As you can see, this presentation includes a combination of new and enhanced features for all Autodesk Revit 2014, Autodesk Revit Architecture 2014, Autodesk Revit MEP 2014, and Autodesk Revit Structure 2014 software. Autodesk Revit 2014 is only available as part of the premium and ultimate versions of Autodesk Building Design Suite 2014. Let's begin by taking a look at the platform features which span across all industries, as well as features specific for architects. Now, in addition to energy analysis for conceptual massing elements, you can perform energy analysis using detailed Revit models. The Building Elements Simulation option creates an energy analytical model directly from your Revit building elements and sends it to the Autodesk Green Building Studios for simulation using DOE 2.2. Once the analysis is complete, you can review and compare results as you continue to iterate the model and inform your design decisions. This innovative new algorithm automatically identifies and places analytical spaces and surfaces and creates GBXML. This new feature works both with and without the placement of Revit rooms and space objects, thereby facilitating whole building energy simulation with as little as one click. The tool also accounts for more complex model geometry like slope walls, varying wall thicknesses, and plenum spaces. There is no need to prepare the model for analysis or rebuild a separate model. Bottom line, you can conduct more reliable and repeatable whole building energy analysis with less time and skill. Architects, MEP, and structural engineers and contractors can create exploded views of any 3D view, including perspective. Exploded views can be used to illustrate the relationship model elements have to the model as a whole. This information can be used in construction documents to show design intent. In any 3D view, including perspective, model elements can be moved by using the Displace Elements tool. You use this tool to create displacement sets and move them along the X, Y, and Z axes to a specified distance away from the model. Then you can draw a path that connect these elements back to their original model location. The benefit is that you can visualize the building elements and how they're connected with the ability to create exploded 3D diagram views. Revit has previously enabled the following dialog windows to dock or stick to the left, right, top, and bottom of the Revit application window. Now the following windows can be moved and resized and either floated or docked. That's the Project Browser, the System Browser, the Properties Palette, and the Reconcile Hosting window. They can also be grouped so that several windows represented by tabs occupy the same space on the screen. Bottom line, you can use the tabs to work more efficiently with the familiar workflow for dialog windows. In this release, new user interface options enable you to configure the double-click behavior to edit families, sketched elements, views and schedules on sheets, as well as assemblies, groups, and component stairs. These default actions may be modified in the Options tab on User Interface in the Double-Click Options. In the Customizable Double-Click Settings dialog box, you can specify double-click behavior for entering edit mode for the mentioned element types. Now, depending on the element type, you can choose to have double-click do nothing, enable editing of the element type properties, or enable editing of the element, or in the case of views and schedules on sheets, double-click can activate the view. Bottom line, you get quicker and more efficient access to edit elements. In this release, the following layer standards for exporting DWG and DXF files have been updated to reflect the latest changes. They include the American Institute of Architects, ISO Standard 13567, the Singapore Standard 83, and the British Standard 1192. Also, you can find import improvements for IFC, DWG, and DXF. Textures, line patterns, line weights, and text are now included in 3D DWF exports. When an imported instance containing 3D solid geometry is exploded in the family editor environment, the 3D solids are now preserved. Each 3D solid becomes a freeform element which can be used for cutting, joining, and other form operations. These freeform elements can be edited by dragging the shape handles on planar faces. The benefit is that now you can collaborate more effectively with enhanced interoperability between technologies. Enhancements to the Material Browser dialog include the Material Editor functionality, which has been integrated into the Material Browser dialog. To edit a material, select it in the Material Browser and edit information in the tabs in the right pane, now referred to as the Material Editor panel. This is an editable materials classification system to allow for rapid search within the project or library, in conjunction with the breadcrumb UI element contained in the Materials Browser. And now you can assign, sort, and organize materials by class. When displaying a project material in the Material Browser, the hand icon displays in the right pane of the Appearance, Physical, and Thermal tabs, indicating how many materials in the current project share the same asset. If the hand displays a 0, the asset is not shared or used by any other materials in the current project. The asset is only used by the current selected material. Now the Show and Hide Library button has also been added to the project material pane. This lets you collapse the library panel if you need to display more items in the project materials list. The Material Parameters dialog box is now modeless, so you can view and change custom material parameters more quickly. Bottom line, you now have easier access to the existing materials. In Revit 2014, you can select multiple detail items or import raster images and use the send them back, send backward, bring to front, or bring forward tools to move them all in one operation. The second enhancement enables you to use the Align tool on a divided surface in the conceptual massing environment. You can align the UV grids on a planar divided surface by using a straight edge of the surface as a reference or an external reference. This method enables you to rotate the grid to be aligned to the edges that you select. Also, now you can tag the materials of a building element in 3D view. Once you lock the 3D view, you can then begin tagging the materials. The main benefit is the enhanced productivity tools really help you to improve control over the elements in your project and construction documents and help you to better visualize design intent. You can now change a rectangular crop region or callout view to a non-rectangular shape. When you select the crop region, there are two new features available on the Mode panel of the Modify Structural Plan tab. Using the tools on the Modify and Draw panels, you can edit the crop region as you need it. You can modify the existing lines or delete the lines and sketch a completely different shape. The Reset Crop feature changes the edited crop region to a rectangular shape within the current extents of the edited crop region. The crop or callout is changed back to a rectangular boundary, and all changes made in the sketch mode are discarded. And this really allows easier presentation of reference model areas and gives more efficient documentation layout. When creating an instance project parameter for text, area, volume, currency, mass density, URL, material, and family type only, you now have the option to allow the value to vary for different group instances. The user can edit the parameter value for an element in a group instance without changing the value for the corresponding elements in other group instances. Bottom line, this feature gives you more flexibility with the data reporting and increased support for Colby requirements. A room calculation point setting has been added to all family types that are room aware. Examples are furniture, doors, casework, specialty equipment, and generic models. When these families are placed in a project, sometimes portions of the geometry are located outside a room, space, or within another element, which results in no calculable values being reported. Enabling the room calculation point enables you to move the location of the calculation point to fall inside the required space. The room calculation points also have a to from room functionality for doors so that you can better control how the door calculates which side is the to side and which side is the from side. Bottom line, you can improve design accuracy and ensure room and space calculations account for all elements for more accurate energy analysis. Improvements to the schedules will help you with enhanced text and table formatting for better customization, as well as give you more intuitive access to parameters as well as text properties. And table formatting improvements really help give you more control to make your schedules look the way you want. You have the ability to display graphics in the header section of the schedule, along with conditional formatting improvements, which can now be seen on the sheet and printed. The benefit is that you gain greater control of schedule formatting and increase access to data within BIM. In this release, new options enable you to determine whether you can select linked elements, underlay elements, pinned elements, and elements by face in a model. You can enable the Select Links option when you want to be able to select linked files and individual elements in the links. Linked files can include Revit models, CAD files, and point clouds. You can also enable the Select Underlay Elements option when you want to be able to select elements contained in an underlay. You can enable the Select Elements by Face option when you want to be able to select elements by clicking interior faces rather than the edges. You can also enable the Select Pinned Elements option when you want to be able to select elements that are pinned in place and cannot be moved. And finally, you can enable dragged elements on selection so you can drag an element without selecting it first. To avoid accidentally moving an element when you select it, disable this option. Big benefit is that this helps you to improve control over the behavior of selected elements and links in your project to help increase your productivity during design. Split elevations support common documentation conventions when working with multiple buildings on a site where one building obscures another. It gives you the ability to manage the elevation cut line configuration, allowing another building to be excluded from the elevation. The benefit is that with split elevations, it'll help improve your construction documents with support for more common documentation practices and standards. Temporary view properties is a new platform feature that allows you to change view properties without affecting the saved view state. Starting the mode allows changes to the view to meet your current workflow. These changes will not affect the view for printing and will not cause issues while collaborating via work sharing. Using the feature may reduce the need for saving and maintaining working views, although that is not the primary use case. Selecting temporarily applied template properties enables you to enter the mode with the current view template applied to the view properties. This enables the mode to be started from a known state. The menu saves the last 5 view templates that have been used when activating the mode. Once the mode is activated, a frame is drawn around the view with the title Temporary View Properties to indicate that the view is temporary. Now this improves documentation and design visualization with the ability to change view properties without affecting the saved view state. In Revit 2014, you can enable optimized view navigation on the Graphics tab of the Options dialog. The new feature is called Used Optimized View Navigation. When you enable this option, Revit temporarily suspends certain features that affect the display of the model. This option improves performance when you're navigating a 2D view or a 3D view in ways that manipulate the camera. The benefit is that the performance improvements help deliver a smoother experience when working on Revit projects of any size. Based on your request, Stairs and railings have been enhanced to help you edit rail patterns and have the ability to customize the stair winder pattern. Enhancements to run width, stair representation, star join, and other tools help improve the quality of your designs. Railing transitions have been improved as well as the usability of the stairs tool. Now you can more easily model, edit, and document stair and railing designs to meet your requirements. In this release of Revit 2014, a new point cloud engine allows you to link RCP and RCS format point clouds into a project. The point cloud tool can also be used to index raw format point clouds to the RCP RCS formats. New visibility and graphics override options allow you to control the color mode for the point cloud display. Also, you have faster interaction and greater performance. Bottom line, this improves performance and usability while working with point cloud data. You can now display alternate dimension units along with the primary units for all permanent and spot dimension types. This feature allows you to display imperial and metric values in drawings side by side. For example, if you define alternate units, you can place dimensions that automatically display primary units such as feet and fractional inches and alternate units such as millimeters. If you want to use alternate dimension units for a specific dimension type such as aligned, you must modify the type properties for the aligned dimension type. Now this gives you greater insight into the dimensions of the model and compliance with common dimensioning standards. The API has been enhanced for visualization, views, work sharing, and site for a more seamless workflow. Higher visualization fidelity with Showcase, Max, Buzzsaw, and more. The work sharing API helps improve interaction between Revit and data management. The View API improves multi-product workflows through view filters and the Visibility Graphics API. The expanded Site API supports partner extensions with an ecosystem to expand Revit capabilities for building sites. API enhancements have also improved workflows with highly integrated external features through a code checking API and a dockable dialog API. Bottom line, the benefit is that with these improvements to the API environment, third-party developers can better support your design workflows and integration with Revit. Now let's take a look at the new features, functionality, and enhancements, specifically for MEP engineers. Revit 2014 now allows you to place air terminals directly on ducts. Model your duct system to reflect real-world installations with the ability to place air terminal devices directly on the face of a duct and have air propagated correctly in the system. This has been a long-standing request that enables you to model real-world design scenarios by easily dragging and auto-snapping to the sides and bottom of ducts. Bottom line is, you can now more accurately represent air terminal design when you need to place air terminals directly on the ducts. You can now restrict the available angles when adding or modifying pipe, duct, conduit, and cable tray with controls to model according to industry standards. Piping may now be limited to specific angles, while duct, conduit, and cable tray may be limited to specific angles or incremented angles. The biggest benefit is that this will help improve design with the ability to route MEP systems more easily using standard angles for more accurate design. In Revit 2014, you can now model more efficiently by adding caps on open ends of pipe and duct more quickly and easily. Add end caps to duct and pipe routing preferences to automatically add end caps to any open segments of the system. You can choose to select individual or groups of pipe and duct content and then use the ribbon button, Cap Open Ends, to add end caps to all open ends of the selected content. You can also right-click on a pipe or duct connector and select Cap Open End from the pop-up menu to cap the open end of the connector that has been selected. The benefit is that you can more easily add end caps to duct and pipe segments to create properly closed networks for more accurate airflow. Eliminate the need for external CSV files by embedding the CSV data into the families. Collaboration and sharing BIM models amongst team members is made easier since you no longer need to worry about a missing CSV file. A new Lookup table manage tool inside the family editor provides the ability to manage CSV data previously held in the external CSV files. Bottom line, you can help ensure model data integrity is maintained when you're transferring models amongst design team members by embedding the CSV data into your families. The duct and pipe calculations have been moved to the API, giving you the ability to use regional calculations with Autodesk Revit. You can select which duct and pipe calculations are used in a project file. Calculation methods for straight duct and pipe segments allow third-party developers to create calculation methods installed as add-ins to take the place of default calculation methods within Revit. You can specify different calculation methods for straight segments of duct and pipe in the mechanical settings. For duct, you can also specify the method for calculating pressure loss. Calculation methods for duct and pipe fittings and accessories use the loss method parameter on the properties palette to select the pressure loss method for duct and pipe fittings and accessories. You use the loss method settings options to edit the settings for the loss method. Third-party developers can create their own calculation add-ins to override default ones used in Revit to support local industry standards. There are also tools provided to validate calculations and improve duct and pipe calculations. The biggest benefit to you is that you can improve duct and pipe system design by using regional calculations within Revit through the API. In Revit 2014, designing and modeling plumbing systems is now easier than ever with the new plumbing default template. The template supports storm drainage, wastewater, and more. Having a separate template for plumbing systems allows you to design and model more efficiently. Bottom line, you can design plumbing systems more quickly and easily with the new plumbing template. Use the divide system command to divide a duct or pipe system consisting of multiple systems into individual systems. In Revit, a system may be a collection of multiple separate physical networks. Use the divide system command to create individual systems from a duct or pipe system consisting of multiple physical networks. This may help improve performance. The divide system command is available only when there are multiple physical networks within a selected system. Bottom line, you can improve large model and system management, control, and performance by creating individual systems from multiple systems.
Next, let's take a look at some new and enhanced features specifically for structure engineers. In this release, the structure analytical model was improved in several different areas. You can find enhancements to help create and manage the structure analytical model, such as better visibility and greater control over the analytical model. Thanks to ability to create filters based on the connection status parameter, we have greater control over the analytical model. For example, right now analytical nodes which status is unconnected can be displayed in a different color than connected nodes. Now you can also adjust analytical walls in relation to nodes of analytical floors and analytical foundation slabs. The Analytical Wall Adjustment tool now allows for the selection of nodes that are associated to analytical floors or analytical foundation slabs as the target position of the wall adjustment. You can also annotate analytical links as well as analytical nodes. You have also the ability to schedule analytical and physical element properties together in a single schedule. When you schedule the structural framing category or any other category with associated structural analytical model categories, you can find the ability to schedule the properties of the analytical elements together in the same schedule. The same capability exists when you schedule the analytical elements. This improves your ability with Revit to manipulate the analytical model to help solve round-tripping issues between Revit and structural analysis software. There is a new feature in the reinforcement settings called Include Hooks in Rebar Shape Definition. With this new option, hooks do not influence rebar shape. This improves definition of rebar shape codes according to European standards and extends structural workflows into the fabrication process. Also, in this release, the reinforcement rounding functionality has been added to the Revit environment. You can now specify rounding parameters for structural rebar, for bar length, for bus segment length, and structural fabric reinforcement. This can be set in the Reinforcement Settings dialog box. Two new fabric sheet lap splice positions and possibility to determine the start point of fabric sheets distribution have been added for wire mesh distribution. These new functionalities of reinforcement precise modeling help move you forward to the next stage for detailing and scheduling. Rebar constraints are part of an internal mechanism used to set and lock the geometry of each rebar instance with respect to its concrete host element. In this release, you can now apply overrides to the default host constraint behavior on a selected rebar element. Once you select a rebar, the Edit Constraints options is available. Rebar constraints apply to rebar cover, other rebar instances in the host, and the host surfaces. Since each rebar element can be flexed to arbitrary dimensions, Revit attempts to automatically set the position and geometry of each rebar in a manner that is meaningful to the structure designer by considering the geometry of its host as well as the presence of other rebars. Once the rebar's geometry is set, Revit then automatically assigns constraints to the rebar so that it moves and flexes appropriately response to changes that occur in the model. These constraints are designed specifically for rebar and are different than standard Revit locked dimensions. This feature improves the existing rules for rebar placement. It gives us a custom way to have a better control on how rebars are placed in a concrete formwork. This enables reinforcement to be updated correctly based on any calculated changes and helps keep designs coordinated and accurate. There is a new type of annotation tool called a Multirebar annotation. This tool is located on the Annotation tab on the Tag panel. You can choose between aligned and linear multi-rebar annotation. Thanks to these options, now you can annotate multiple rebar and rebar sets with a single tag. You can use these annotations to tag each bar in rebar sets with detailed fabrication and construction information. This functionality gives greater support of concrete reinforcement documentation. In this release, you have greater control over the physical geometry location of structural framing elements. These features are available to steel beams and braces. Now you can adjust position of a structure element along Y and Z axis in its local coordinate system based on additional cross-section characteristic points. You can increase or decrease the length of geometry of an element from the end of the location line based on new additional parameters: start and extension, start and join cutback. Also, now you can visualize a location line of selected element as well as you can define independent elements and justification and offsetting. This extends the modeling capabilities within Revit to become a framework for still detailed modeling. In this release, you can use the Switch Join Order tool on the Modify tab to revise or unify the order in which elements, such as structural floors and beams, join with each other. First, you must select Switch Join Order and then select each element whose join order is to be revised. To switch the join order of multiple elements with a single element, you must select Multiple Switch on the option bar before selecting the element. This feature improves concrete design by more accurately presentation of joints of concrete elements. The Structure Analysis and Code-Checking Toolkit for Autodesk Revit software is a suite of tools that supports the building information modeling process and allows structure engineers to analyze and check their structure from within the Revit environment. It can be downloaded from the Autodesk Exchange Apps website for free. Using this toolkit, structure designers and engineers can optimize their workflows in the cloud and on the desktop by using the analytical model built in Autodesk Revit to conduct cloud-based structure analysis with access to Autodesk 360 services, and by extending the Revit model to Autodesk Robust Structure Analysis Professional software or supported third-party analysis solutions. Once complete, analysis results can be easily stored and explored in the Revit environment. Structural results storage and results exploration tools delivered by the toolkit enable users to explore and document results so they could gain knowledge on structure's behavior, have insight into consolidated and detailed results to take appropriate design decisions, as well as properly document it. Using the toolkit, structure engineers can also verify and design structure elements according to local building codes and regulations, which can be easily and quickly implemented by using the code checking framework. The goal of the new structural code checking platform feature is to give Revit users the ability to perform a code checking process inside a native Revit model. The results of the code checking add-ins may be delivered in a form of structural results, visualized in a form of diagrams and maps, calculation notes, and model and documentation updates. This toolkit extends the structural workflow in the Revit environment.
And that concludes the presentation on what's new in Autodesk Revit 2014. Thank you.